Hello viewers, thank you for joining me, and welcome to the month's second movie review. The Garden of Words had been really hyped up for me, and it wasn't bad, but I didn't love it. I was hoping to follow it up with something really great, and the Wonderland looked really promising. Our hero is a young girl named Akane, hiding out in her room after some drama with her friends. I'd say she's probably like 12 or 13. The story is actually set the day before her birthday, but we're not given an age. Her mother lures her out with the promise of an early present. She just has to go get it herself from her eccentric Aunt Chi's curiosity shop. Chi is easily the best character in this movie, but we'll get to that. While perusing through the shop's collection of antiques and something or others that Chi found in far-off lands, Akane places her palm down on a stone engraved with a handprint. It's a perfect fit, but before she has time to ponder this, they start hearing noises from the shop's basement. The trapdoor pops open, and from it emerges a very dapper-looking man. He introduces himself as Hippocrates, the most revered alchemist in an alternate dimension connected to theirs. His world is in danger, and Akane's matching handprint is all the proof he needs that she's the legendary goddess of the green wind, fated to save them all. Chi's not about to let this adventure pass her by, so he whisks them both away, and the story truly begins. And okay, the way we kicked off this adventure maybe felt a little forced. I think it would have felt a bit more natural if Akane and Chi had stumbled into the world accidentally somehow, but I'll let that one go. The world they appear in still looks pretty damn beautiful, but they're told that it's losing its color. The land is dying due to a prolonged drought. The royal family has the power to control the rain, but the king and queen both died a few years earlier, one right after the other. The prince's coming-of-age ceremony is fast approaching, but people are worried, with good reason. Word is he's been very sick, and he hasn't made any public appearances in a year. Even worse, his wizard tutor has fallen into a deep slumber. A natural occurrence for him, but the timing couldn't be worse. So Hippocrates plans to bring Akane to the castle so she can somehow cure the prince, and along the way they'll have to fend off the evil Zangu, who's destroying towns, collecting materials for a weapon to destroy the castle's well. I thought it was a pretty great setup. I love these sorts of ordinary child learns they're destined to be a hero fantasy adventures. This movie looked beautiful all the way through, and I could see that the ideas were all there, but the storytelling wasn't totally. This was one of those stories that struggled with the execution of its ideas. And to explore that, let's talk about Akane. This is our main protagonist's coming-of-age story. She's very much a reluctant hero. The drama with her friends at the start was really dumb and petty, actually. One of her friends was being shunned for not wearing the right hair clip, and Akane hadn't been brave enough to stand up for her. That was literally it. And then she felt so guilty afterwards that she chose to run away from that problem too, by pretending to be sick so she wouldn't have to go to school. Much as I might mock the situation, though, it does introduce us to Akane's character pretty clearly. She's not super timid or shy, but she's not exactly fantasy hero material either. While her Aunt Chi could not be more thrilled to be on this adventure, Akane just wants to go home. The setup reminded me a lot of Spirited Away, and I don't know that I've ever talked about it during a review, but I adore Spirited Away. Easily my favorite childhood movie, and it still holds a place of honor alongside the three I currently consider to be the best anime movies I've ever seen. But I know it's on the older side now, so for anyone who's not familiar with it, Spirited Away is the story of gloomy and timid Chihiro. Her more adventurous parents get themselves trapped in a spirit world, and she has to save them, slowly building her courage through various bizarre challenges. And let me tell you, as a young girl who had a wild imagination but who'd never been particularly brave, Spirited Away really spoke to me. I try not to be cynical when approaching new things. Nothing would have made me happier than seeing the Wonderland become the next Spirited Away. Unfortunately, this is where the execution of the storytelling kind of failed our hero. Right before they set off, Hippocrates gives Akane a necklace called the Momentum Anchor, and this is where it all starts to go downhill. Rather than providing some sort of encouragement, the anchor forces her forward, or at least prevents her from running away. She can't even move out of the path of Zangu's tank to save herself. Hippocrates and she have to physically pick her up and drag her to safety. And yes, she needs to learn to confront her problems, but no one's saving the prince if she's squished under a tank. But even overlooking some of the anchor's most obvious drawbacks, it's just not a good idea for the sake of the story. You don't want some magic pendant or whatever doing the work for your hero. Akane is never given the chance to decide to be brave for herself, and she's not given any inner monologue moments to show the audience that she's feeling more confident over time or anything. It looks like she's continuing along at every step simply because she has no other choice. Along those same lines, Chi was a great character, but also a little detrimental to Akane's growth after a while. Chi was a lot of fun, and I think just about anyone watching this movie as an adult could relate to her. She can't believe a portal to another world was underneath her childhood home this whole time, and she's determined to have the adventure that passed her by as a kid. But it gets to a point where she's just another force pushing Akane along so that Akane is never given a chance to shine herself. In fact, in most scenes she's in, Akane is the least noteworthy one there. She almost feels like a background character in her own movie. It's just, by the time she's the one encouraging the prince forward, it hardly feels like she's even had a proper adventure to teach her those life lessons. The ideas were there, I just didn't feel like the writers connected them quite well enough. I mentioned that this movie was very reminiscent of Spirited Away for me, and it can be a little hard to overlook that there's already a better version of this story out there. But I did enjoy the Wonderland. I really liked the twist with the prince near the end. It was still a very fun story, and it looked beautiful from start to finish. I wish the storytelling had also really shined, but it was still a good movie. It didn't quite scratch that itch to find something really great, but I'll keep looking. Thank you for watching.